Yeah, you're looking at both of them.
Yeah. And there's a little bit over here now. Anyway, because I ain't got to look at myself like that.
Tell me all right there.
Yeah. And plus, their comments come over here. So, not really in my way. I kind of figured out the setup in here. I mean, it's a little bit different, I guess, for now. But I mean, you can see the ceiling, but it's all right. For the most part, for you guys on Facebook, I've already told you guys the update on the counselor and stuff. For my YouTubers, I haven't really gotten to tell y'all yet. Nothing much has changed since then, but she did seem to know which medication which was affecting, which was the Effexor. But she kept me on Buspar and switched me to two new ones. Because I went ahead and blocked out the address, so y'all can't see that. But the first one was the fluoxetine, 20 milligrams, which I take one every morning, and it's just like a white capsule. And she switched me over to a piprazole, 2 milligrams too, which is also called Abilify. That's the easier way to say it. I don't know if it has that over here where it says that one doesn't say it. But to Abilify also, and I'm only on 2 milligrams of that one. I didn't take tonight, which I was supposed to, but once again, starting out on new medications, so I forgot to do so. So I can't really give an honest opinion about how the Abilify made me feel. But the other one, however, I guess I didn't really have no bad side effects or anything. The only thing that I noticed is it made me a little bit tired, like they usually do when I start taking new medications or whatever. Um, the Buse bar is still just fine. It works for me okay. The Depakote, she still wants me taking those for the seizures. And still got to go back to see my neurologist here in a couple of weeks, actually. I go back to see him on the 20th. Supposed to dismiss me then, but I don't know. It depends on what all his findings were or whatever. But the only thing that I saw on the thing was a, like, I guess they're extra veins in the brain. They don't really serve a purpose. It's just something that some people are born with. And I so happen to be one of those people that was born with it, and it's in like front, the left frontal lobe area. And I think they call it like the Medusa brain or something like that, just because the way that the veins are shaped, it looks like Medusa's hair. Weird, but from my understanding, stuff like that, they serve no purpose at all. Well, at least like no purpose that we know of. I mean, I'm sure it serves a purpose, or else it wouldn't be there, I guess. But it does it does stuff. It carries out blood flow to a bigger vein in my brain. Nothing special. But as far as any other findings from my MRI, he didn't really see anything else besides like maybe a past inner ear infection, and like I still had that stuff in my sinus on the right side, so I don't really know what that's from either. I guess it could be from having my teeth removed, and it's just because it's the change in base now, so it has that built up of stuff. I don't know, or like a past sinus infection or something. No telling. But as far as any of that goes, it's nothing that bothers me or affects me in any way, shape, or form that we know of. I will stop seeing him here in January, and I will start going to Emory in Atlanta. So hopefully that will do some good. Can I hit that cigar? But hopefully it will do some good to be able to figure out what's going on. Because, I mean, we know that the pseudo seizures or conversion disorder is, we know that that's happening. We know that that's going on, but we know that there's also something else in there that's going on too. We just don't know what it is. So I figured go ahead and go to Emory and hopefully they can figure it out. Because I don't know why, but here in Chattanooga area they can't seem to do so. And not exactly that they can't seem to do it, but we are located in Georgia and a lot of the doctors there don't accept Georgia Medicaid, which is what I have. I only have Georgia Medicaid, which a lot of them won't take. Some of them do, like my current neurologist that I'm seeing at Erlanger. But it was even kind of difficult for me to get in to see them also. But since we're so close to the Tennessee state line, some of them will deal with me, some of them will not. It honestly depends on the doctor, I guess. But I can't really get into the doctors that actually are able to do that stuff around here because they don't accept Georgia Medicaid because they're in Tennessee, and I don't live in Tennessee. I live in Georgia. So, figured maybe Emory can do a better job. It is a long way from where I am, which is about a 2 hour drive. But I figured that, if it's worth it, then so be it. Driving 2 hours is nothing as long as it's worth it. I don't want to go doctors for them to tell me the exact same thing that my last one has. But I do feel like we're getting closer to the answer on that. Because it also confuses me when the mental health doctor also states that I need to still be seeing my neurologist, not just seeing them, which I totally agreed with her on that. And that's exactly, I found another one. Because it sucks Yes, but I will continue to find however many it takes until I find the right one that finds out what's going on and listens to what I have to say and not just my family members and stuff, which don't get me wrong, they do know a lot more. However, it is my body. I should be able to tell you how I feel a lot more than they can. All they can tell you guys is what they see on the outside, just like everybody else. They can't tell you how I'm feeling. They can't tell you that my stomach's upset or that I got an excruciating headache or that my eyeballs feel like they're about to pop out of my face. They don't know that. They just, like I said, they see the outside. They don't feel what's going on the inside. So I understand where they need my family members and stuff for the things that I forget and the things that I don't know during my episodes or seizures. Sorry, guys, because I know some of y'all don't like episodes, but seizures.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, some characteristics about these things.
Yeah, because
Because
some
you
of
ain't
them are
owning
just
it.
like they're not episodes, they're seizures. I mean, they're still
They're both,
episodes, though,
though,
you guys.
bitch. Yeah.
But just so y'all know, they are called different things in different countries. Like a lot of countries and stuff, they say episodes and instead of seizures like that. But just because a lot of it is offensive to everybody else and stuff like that. Just like with the PNES stuff, or not the PNES, but the pseudo seizures. That's why they're starting to change that over. Also, is because people we don't like that term. I mean, it's correct in the medical term. However, when people read that definition, it's right. It leads to a lot of misunderstanding because when people see the word false, they think that it means fake, and that is not the case. When it says false in the definition, it means a false epileptic seizure, meaning that it is a non epileptic seizure, not or faking anything. And it took me a long time to be able to understand this definition as well because they did not explain this to me. They failed to explain that because a lot of doctors they don't care to explain that. They're the doctor. That's not really their job. Their job is to give you the diagnosis, pretty much. That's that's all their job is to do is to find out what's going on and tell you. And then basically it's just left up to us to pick up the puzzle pieces afterwards. However, later on down the line, as more doctors and stuff has actually talked to me more openly and actually explained the definition rather than just blaming me for something that I can't control, helped a lot more. Which now I can spread on some of this information to you guys. Also, guys, I want to state obviously I'm not a doctor, so please do not look at me for any medical advice like that or anything like that. It's just for educational purposes only. Just I've been through and things that I have been told. And hopefully, Emory will also do a better job with bedside manners. I don't know how well they are with that. However, the nearest hospital here, which is CHI Memorial in Rossville, they have terrible bedside manners. Because, I mean, I understand it gets annoying when you have to see certain people or whatever, but your jobs are to take care of us. That includes mental health things, including mental health episodes, not just for to be laughed at. The hospitals and stuff is still for the same thing. That's not what y'all are for. It's for mental health reasons. But in case of emergencies and stuff like that, when someone's having a mental health crisis and stuff like that, that's what your jobs are, is to take care of us. Which comes down to the conversion disorder stuff because to me is a mental health crisis at the time. Not always, not always the case. However, I feel like when you go into the hospital for a PNES episode, then you know that's the case. Just having a mental health crisis or whatever they want to call it, which is basically true. And also, another thing that I didn't understand, you guys, is the stress factors. Because I didn't know that there was such thing as good stress and bad stress and stuff like that. I thought the stress was just stress, which is comes down to it. It is just stress, but took me a long time to live. There is good stress and bad stress also. So when they state that it's stressors or oh well why are you stressed this time or something like that, they don't necessarily mean like why are you having a bad day or something like that. It could just be like I mentioned before, like riding on a roller coaster and having that kind of excitement, or even becoming a mother for the first time and having that excitement. That can do the same thing, which actually I heard about it just the other day. Someone on one of my groups on Facebook was talking about how she just had a baby and she had a couple of seizures going into delivery also, which it, it can do a lot of damage as well, which people don't realize. I mean, it doesn't do like brain damage how epileptic seizures would do, but it can still mess you up in certain ways, especially when you're pregnant. That can also mess with you guys because you're pregnant for one, and also when your body spasms up like that, everything that you're going through basically baby is going through. I mean, baby's not seasoned exactly, but baby is inside of you, which means every single time that your muscles tighten, that means that your belly's tightening up and then releasing and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying, you guys? Your muscles and stuff are clenching together and stuff like that, which makes it dangerous for baby because obviously there's baby there. So, um, I don't quite think it's as big of a deal like when you get into like your last trimester, as much as like your first trimester. It's a little bit more difficult. Excuse me, which you gotta be a little bit more careful with. However, it can still get dangerous at that time too. As far as the counselor goes, we didn't really talk about much this time. All we talked about was seizure stuff and, how they make me feel, why I feel that way, all that stuff, which they don't really make me feel any kind of way besides I'm just in a big ass loop all the time. Just having to constantly go back and forth, back and forth. But I was made aware of a long time ago by several doctors that this would be the case for the rest of my life, basically to get over it. I mean, they didn't say get over it, but basically their words were to get over it. This is a thing that I deal with until the day that I die. I mean, there are ways that we can control it or try to control it, but there is no guarantee that they're not going to come back. All these medications and stuff, this is just to keep me at bay, just keep my brain keep my brain at ease, because with my medications and stuff, my brain's 90 to nothing, thinking about nothing but everything at the same time, just picking every single piece of everything, just picking it off one by one, no reason to at all. And then it messes with me, and then we're back to square one all the time, just seething in the floor, or busting my face, or breaking arms, or breaking stuff. Just not cool at all, in the slightest. Um, I guess the main issue that I've really been having is the weight stuff. I don't know if it has to do with my meds or what it has to do with, because I eat food all the time, which I was gaining weight for a while, and then I started losing weight, quite a bit of weight. I went from like 130 down to almost 92, and then I went back up to almost 130 again, and now I'm back down to almost 115, and still going back down when I go back to the doctor. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but obviously there's something that I'm not doing right, I guess. Well, but I guess that also includes eating the right fruit. I mean, not eating the right fruit, but eating the right foods, probably. I don't know. Um, as far as the medications go, they don't make me feel as bad as last round did. Once again, I didn't try the aripiprazole or whatever it's called yet, so I don't really know how that one affects me yet. But once I take it later on, I can give my opinion then.
Hey ladies, look what I got for you. Hanging out with Jade is all kind of an adventure.
Let's see. As far as the mental health doctor went, we didn't really talk about the tics this time. She said that she didn't really want to deal with that. She thinks the neurologist needs to, which the new neurologist is very well aware of this new issue that we're having. So supposedly they're going to deal with that too. I don't know. That's what they said, but we'll see when May gets here, which is still quite a few months away. Um, Also, I still got to go back to my current neurologist here on the 20th. So I still don't know what he's going to say. He said if I was still having the tics or whatever when I came back, he was trying to send me to a movement specialist. So I don't know if that'll be the case this time or not. With the medications and stuff, they've been helping to where they're not as severe and to where I'm not blurting stuff out anymore, which is good. However, the let's see, that that urge is still there. Yes, that feeling of needing to, if that makes sense any. But I don't really have like full ticks like that anymore, but I still have a few of them. Like I'll have a few head jerks or something like that, but it won't be really crazy to how they were before, to constant almost and making my neck hurt or throwing things across the room or blurting stuff out of my mouth that should not be coming out of my mouth. So far, it's been helping. Once again, can't say anything about the new meds yet because they haven't really had time enough to take effect like that. From my understanding, she said that the Abilify was supposed to help with the movement stuff going on. She said she wasn't for sure whether it was gonna like stop them completely or anything like that, but she said that it should be able to give me some more relief because I told her that not like they were severe because they had kind of went down with the medications I was taking. It was just the medication was making me feel rough. And then she had mentioned, well, this medication right here, I think, would probably help better with that. And she asked me how I was without it. And then I told her, I'm like, well, you kind of remember how I came in last time is pretty much is almost constantly, not quite constantly like 24/7, but almost. It was it was pretty close to it. And there was even when I had tossed my phone in the floor the last time that I had went in and saw her, not on purpose, like I got mad and just threw my phone in the floor, but I had a tick and tossed my phone in the floor. But thank you, they understood what was happening and, we moved past it. And another part of moving past that was the not really talking about it when it was happening, which they also let me know at this last appointment or made me aware of is, oops, sorry you guys, is that whenever I'm having my tics or whenever I'm having my episodes, whatever I want to call them, that just to ignore them to the best of my ability, and for it would be best for everybody else to do the same because like the PNES stuff, the more that you draw attention to it, the more that I focus on it, and the more that I focus on it, the more pronounced they become. And then it's more like a OCD thing instead of like needing to tick, kind of. It's like having to tick. It's like, oh, I have to twitch or something. And I still have those feelings. Like I just had it just a second ago when my arm did the twitching. I felt like I had the need to have to twitch it an extra time, which I don't know why it was not necessary, but it did it anyway because I'm sitting here talking about it. But so they made a pretty good point on that, I guess, but not necessarily that I didn't know that already, because I think that's kind of how everything goes, really. The more you focus on it, the more it happens. But it's just I didn't pay attention to that. I just got really annoyed every time they would happen, and I would try to stop them, or I would get embarrassed and I'd try to stop them or try to hide them. And she also let me know not to really do that either. I feel the urge. If the urge is there and it happens, then let it happen. But if I have that control kind of where I can control it to do so, which comes down to once again like the conversion disorder stuff. It comes down to me having to teach my brain habit instead of twitching my arm to blink or something, or maybe not even blink, but to write something down on paper or something. I don't know, something different. But really, as far as that goes, that's really our act for the counselor and the doctor. Like I said, it wasn't nothing major this time. We didn't really talk about anything except for my seizures and some of the tics, but not really. Um, I think they're getting pretty close to starting to go into the deep stuff, but I don't quite know. I kind of feel like that's where we're getting at. They're just getting me ready for that. Because I only had a couple of visits now, like maybe about four. Yeah, like four, I think. 3 or 4, something like that. I've been there a couple of times already. But I think the last time was in February, and my next date is February the 8th for both my doctor and the counselor again. But that's supposed to be because I think they're going to do like another evaluation after that to see where I'm at. And yeah, and then based on my evaluation at that, then they determine whether they're going to let me loose or keep working with me, which I'm pretty sure they'll keep working with me for a while. There's a lot of stuff buried up in here and a lot of information that I don't feel like giving them right now, and they're not gonna get right now. I mean, some of it's even information I've shared with you guys, which is silly, but they're not getting information right now. It's just I'm not ready to trust them with that information yet, I guess. Not that I don't trust my counselor, I do. I like her. I think she's awesome. I think we're a great team together. However, I don't trust them with my information like that yet. Cause y'all can't send me to a nut house. They can. at any time. I mean, I don't think there's really anything to send me for, but if they ever felt like it, they could. You guys really couldn't like that. So I guess that's why it makes me less concerned to tell you guys about stuff than to tell them about things.
They could watch it.
I mean, yeah, I guess they can watch it. Some of them do, maybe. I do know that I told my counselor about Ariel's agenda. She wrote it down. So I think maybe she wanted to check it out or something. So we talked about that a little bit. So that was pretty cool. She thought it was pretty cool too. She said she know that I did all that. I'm like, yeah, I do try to do. So just, I don't know. I don't feel like what I do is worth anything. Is my problem.
My old man does it.
I mean, my old man does stuff, and he's great at his stuff that he does. Is just, however, I don't feel like I found my thing that I'm great at yet. Oh yeah, he does my stuff, the aerial stuff.
Not all of it.
Not like all of it, but all the website stuff, all the great information, all that stuff he does. But I need to like find hobbies, which I know is easier said than done. I mean, I started a crochet blanket thing that I got over here, but that doesn't really do anything though. I mean, it's a hobby, I guess, but I don't know. I just haven't found anything that I'm great at that I enjoy doing like that. So I don't see I don't see potential in myself like that, I guess. All right, guys. I'm not gonna keep everybody on here too long. I know we're going on like almost an hour here. So yeah, I had a little bit of a dead spot on here. I'm not gonna keep it going and then to where I've already done almost knocked you guys over twice already. But thank you guys for joining me, for those of you that have, and thank you guys for joining me for those of you in the future that will. Homesteaders know the value of the Alaskans. They're known